Righty, it is multiplier here, and on a scale from 1 to Skrillex, how much do you want to get better at massive in 1 minute flat? Well, approximately 1 minute, probably more like 3 or 4 minutes, but that's irrelevant. I'm going to teach you something fast, and it's going to be really useful. Genuinely. So it's all about basically, so you have kind of envelopes in massive, and you have the envelopes in all synths, but you have envelopes in massive. And what we can do is we can have the velocity of our notes we're playing kind of affect how much the envelopes happen, which kind of mirrors real life. But first of all, let's quickly explain what velocity is. Velocity is basically a measure of how hard you press the note. So if you have a keyboard and you press it hard, it'll be a high velocity. If you press it soft, it'll be a low velocity. And a lot of kind of MIDI controllers like the Ableton Push here have the same kind of idea. So if I press something softly, it'll be a low velocity. If I press it hard, it'll be a high velocity. And this kind of mirrors real life, where if you have, say, a piano and you press a note down softly, it sounds quite different to if you press down the note quite hard. So if we want to make synth presets that kind of sound kind of real and kind of have the same sort of subtleties or complexities that real life instruments have, we need to program in velocity into our kind of presets. And a really nice way of doing that is with envelopes, because it's just kind of a really nice real sort of way to program velocity in. And how do we do it? So we've got the simplest possible preset you can imagine that involves an envelope. We have the default square saw sound that sounds a little bit like this. Oh, what's going on? Can't hear shit. Can't hear shit. What's happening? Can't hear. Oh, I know what's happening. It's already shut off. I can hear what's going on. We had the cutoff set to 0. Should have done that. Anyway, cool. So we have just a very simple sound, and what we did is we set the simplest possible envelope, which is kind of this envelope shape here, and we set it to the cutoff of a low pass filter with a little bit of resonance. Sounds like this. Dope, right? Anyway, that's the simple sort of setup. It's kind of something you do quite a lot in designing presets, is kind of mapping envelopes to the cutoff of a filter, just because it sounds really kind of cool. But yeah, what we can do is with this kind of parameter here that says vel, have a guess what that stands for. Hint, it doesn't stand for Skrillex. And what we can do by playing with this, we can determine how much the velocity of the note we're pressing determines kind of how much the envelope opens up. So at kind of one extreme, when it's turned off, it doesn't matter how hard we press the note. Sounds exactly the same. At the other extreme, then if we press it really, really softly, the envelope barely opens up, and if we press it quite hard, it will fully open up. And then in the middle. So as you can imagine, depending on how hard you press it, determines how much it opens up. In reality, you probably want it in the middle, which is kind of a nice balance. So determined by kind of how hard you press the note, it will determine how much it opens up. And typically, if you map it in this sort of way too, stuff like a low pass filter, it kind of mirrors real life in the sense that normally in real life, when you press something hard or kind of play a trumpet hard or whatever, you tend to hear more higher frequencies. And kind of the more you open up a low pass filter, the more higher frequencies you get. So that's why it's a nice way of working it. But yeah, that's the idea. It's all about this vel slider. So I highly recommend using it. If you're not using it, you're a lameloid. And that's going to be my 1 minute tip for massive. That's not even close to 1 minute. In fact, I don't even know how long it's been. I bet it's been 3.5 minutes. But yeah, that's your tip for you. Use it, make your tracks better.